Evening, everyone. I'm Lena, and welcome to my creative channel. And today I'm gonna have another intuitive painting session in my favorite sketchbook. I'm gonna do it right here at my kitchen table. I need to clean it up first, and then I'll be ready. And I will also talk a little bit about overthinking today and how the sketchbook sessions help me well, get a little bit more clear inside my head. So let's go. And the sound right now is our lovely cat. Hi. Okay, ready to rumble. I wanted to talk a little bit about overthinking and how these sketchbook sessions work for me and how they help me in, silencing my brain every once in a while. So after I graduated from high school, which is a couple of years ago already, I had the choice to go to art school or to go to Erasmus University in Rotterdam and study philosophy there. And I chose to study philosophy. And after 2 weeks there, it was quite an impulsive uh, decision, I must say. I didn't really know what to do. And when you don't know what to do, well, sometimes I freeze and then I don't make a decision. And that also ends up being a decision, right? In this case, I chose to study philosophy, and after the first 2 weeks, I noticed that it was a good choice and it was lots of fun. And I met incredible people there and with incredible weird brains, like mine, I guess. And it was good to be around fellow-minded people, to say it like that. It was also very useful because I ended up with a brain that is super flexible, very critical, and it doesn't assume things. It's good at creative problem solving, and I guess I'm nuanced, so I always try to see different perspectives before I make up my mind. And I ask why a lot. Like if someone reacts in a particular way to me, I'm not gonna be responding out of my own emotions, but asking, okay, what what could have happened today that this person reacts in this rude way? Anyway, and a lot of these skills I still use today. So I use them in my day job, I use them in my social life, and I use them in my self-reflective like modes when I try to develop and think about who I am and what I want to be. The stuff you daily use. And the only thing that my studies didn't teach me very well and that my brain is really not good at is shutting up. It doesn't have a switch off button. And I think in hindsight that a lot of philosophy students could have benefited from a class on how to actually manage a very active brain. But we hadn't, and when I started working, I came home and I felt like a robot, and my brain was completely, well, only working in like active mode, work mode, in analyze mode, and um, you don't want that when you just want to relax. And I started doing these sketchbook sessions after dinner because I knew that creativity would be my solution and my savior from this. So I started after dinner. I would come home from work, cook my food, eat my food, and then with a decaf I would sit down with my sketchbook. And I think in the beginning I actually started with like portraits, with alcohol markers. I videoed a flip through of that first sketchbook, so I think someday I will put a video up about it because it's also really fun to see like where you started and how far along you are now and all the like the steps you took. And my goal was to do it for a minimum of 30 minutes. And to be honest, I think that 9 out of 10 sessions I always ended up extending, because once you get in the zone, you get in the zone and you just want to continue. So I would sometimes work in multiple sketchbook or like just do multiple pages in one session. And now, after having done literally hundreds of these sessions, it became a routine and it became my outlet. So it's my stress reliever, it's my unwinding, it's how I calm down. Um, And it's not that my brain completely shuts off, because I don't think that's possible, but you could. It's similar, I guess, to meditation. You create this moment for yourself where you get into this kind of zone where particular thoughts can come up and you can just watch them and float on by and see them go. This removes the fog from my brain, and it shows the things that actually matter most. So you actually watch your own thoughts and you can say, okay, that is really what I'm thinking, and the one that's coming by now, I don't know, is caused by people, by other voices, or by pressure, or by anything, but I don't really stand behind it. And on top of that, these sessions are also just fun. I mean, it's not all serious business. It's also about playing, and it's also about being creative and making something with your own hands, which is an incredible thing to do, if you ask me. Because my brain often takes over, and is the main mode of my existence. I'm very rational, and what I feel sometimes can be very hard to reach. And it's when I paint that I feel the heaviness of my emotions, and I direct them to the page or to the canvas. And it's if I know that if I don't express them in any way, so either through a workout or through painting or creativity, or doing fun stuff that also counts, of course, like going to a concert or a festival. If I don't let my emotions out, I will lock them somewhere inside of me, and then it will come out in a way that I really don't want, and that's really unpredictable. And to prevent that from happening, I also started doing these, and it's a little bit of support, I guess, and it's a way to reconnect with what's actually going on inside yourself in this very busy world where we are every day compelled to be distracted by what we want, actually, and get forced things on us that other people want for us, or that other people think that they want for us. And this is a way for me to stay true to myself and to see again what belongs to me and what belongs to someone else. Sometimes the sessions look the same, like days after each other, with paints and my sketchbook. And sometimes I just do it with Posca markers, or only pencils, or anything like maybe only crayons. And sometimes I take the whole shebang out, and the whole kitchen table is filled with my stuff, and I do a session that lasts 3 or 4 hours. I like to keep these sessions for at home. The one that you're watching now, and at my kitchen table, and the bigger paintings, so the actual canvas paintings and the bigger stuff, I leave for in my studio. And this works perfect for me because it means I can still work on my creativity next to my day job after I come home, and I don't always have to go to the studio, which is it's not far. I mean, it's a metro ride of like 15 minutes, but still you have to go there, and it's nice to also be able to stay at home. I like being at home. But I also want to say, you don't need a big studio space to do this, right? So I've done countless of these sessions in places in different ways. Like it's just a routine, so you will find a way to do it. I did them in the grass, I do them on the couch, I did them in bed, I did them in hotel rooms, I did them on holiday. If you just have a couple of materials and your paper, then you will be fine. You will find a way to do it eventually. So don't be distracted by people with big daylight studios and the beautiful curtains and stuff like that. All you need is a desk, maybe a lamp for when it gets dark, and your materials, and you will be able to have fun. And now that I'm thinking about it, I might put the flip through of my sketchbooks up, because it's cool to see where I started. I mean, I think, can you say that about yourself? Maybe you can. But also because they are such a big part of me. So it's it's almost like opening your diary, I guess, but they're a little bit more. It's a little bit more secret because it doesn't shout in words what it's about. And sometimes I don't even know what pages are about, and they just come out of me. I also sometimes use it to, if I'm not inspired or if I'm not sparked, which you can't be all the time. I flip through my sketchbooks, and then I will probably always see some color schemes that I like, or I will see some mark making that I like. And then I just pick that and I try to make a new page around that particular thing that I saw. Or I make a page in response to the page before. So if a page is filled with very vibrant colors, then maybe the one next to it I will keep a little bit more dull or black and white sometimes. It's like an instant creativity boost for me to go through the stuff that I already made. Another thing I want to mention is please also don't misunderstand me. Not all sessions are as smooth as I'd wish to be. So, art making is a process that can also work against you, really. It can confront you that you're not in the right headspace to do this thing and that you made the wrong choice or that you did something that wasn't right. And to me, this all happens when my brain is still in that active mode that I was talking about and when it didn't switch with me into the creative zone. That's also a little bit why I have this routine of making my coffee, sitting down, putting my materials down, putting on some music, because it allows my brain to also like go with me, like, hey, we're now heading in this direction, come, this is fun, shut up about what happened today, we're gonna go into some colors. But if it doesn't come along, well, I just get impatient, and then I'm not I will notice it by not waiting for my paints to dry and doing things in the wrong order, like putting my crayons down first, and it will mess up my Posca markers. It will hurt my materials, my brushes. My colors will get muddy. Like I've been doing this for years and it still happens to me. And then sometimes in those cases even creativity will not help me and rest is the only option and not painting. And at some point, you will recognize this, and then you will just finish your last stroke, clean your brushes, and go sit. Sometimes in silence, and sometimes just lay down and watch some television. And right now, I'm a very lucky person to have a little kitten that loves to cuddle and loves to play, and it also directly like helps me to be here and not up there pointing at my big head. And I probably have this session that doesn't work 2 or 3 times a month. So if that happens, don't worry. Just lay everything down and lay yourself down and get some rest, please. Don't burn yourself out. It's also part of it. So a good painting session only exists if you also know the struggle, right? So and you will only know the struggle if you spend time on something like a couple of times a week, almost daily. You will notice the stuff that works and you will notice the stuff that doesn't work, and you will find your own way in it. And well, like I did, and I came from long, it was a long road. I mean, go through this whole process, and somewhere you will end up and you will feel confident enough to shoot your painting process and talk about how you work and why it works for you. So don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed this and to subscribe to my channel so you won't miss any of my new videos that will come up every few weeks. So thank you all for watching and talk to you soon.